So let's start now, Vivek.
Okay, is everyone there? Yeah, Preeti is there. Okay,
Priyanshu, are
so
you
we
there?
can start.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Gayatri, whoever is going to start.
I'm here. Good morning, good evening, everyone present here. I, Gayatri, on behalf of NSS VIP Children, welcome you all to this event. You don't win a debate by suppressing discussion. You win with a better argument. So, with these lines by Frank Sonnenberg, let's start today's event. Wow, war of words. Let's debate it. So, let me introduce to our judges, Sonia ma'am, Adya ma'am, Avinav sir, and Roshan sir. So now let me tell you about debate. What is debate? So basically, debate is a contest or argument where two opposing teams share their ideas or discuss about one topic and try to convince the other that they are right. So now my friend Priyanshu will tell you about the rules of the event. Over to you, Priyanshu.
Thank you, Gayatri. Good evening, everyone. Now, let me brief you all about the rules and judgment criteria. So, rules are unparliamentary, rough, or rude words will not be entertained and lead to disqualification of the participant. Participants must maintain the decorum of the debate. Every participant will have 3 minutes to present their case or speech. After the second minute has passed, a warning buzzer will be blown for the speaker to warn the speaker that he or she is left with 1 minute of the allotted time. Exceeding the given time limit of 3 minutes will lead to negative marking. The speech will be followed by a rebuttal round, which is also known as questioning round. Mukund, next slide, please. So the rules for rebuttal session is rebuttal round will be of 2 minutes for each participant. After the 1 minute has passed, a warning buzzer will be blown to warn that they are left with 1 minute. During the rebuttal round, other participants or audience may ask questions to the speaker related to the speech. More preference will be given to the participants to ask questions during the rebuttal round. If no question is asked by the participants, then questions from the audience will be taken. No questions will be allowed after the allotted time interval of 2 minutes. Participants and audience who wants to ask a question will have to type me in the chat box, as raise hand option is not available, so you have to write me in the chat box and we will allow you to ask your question. One person can ask only one question to a speaker and no cross questioning on the same question is allowed. Final buzzer will indicate that the allotted time to the speaker is over. Remember, participants supporting the opposite motion can only ask questions to the speaker. If a speaker is speaking for the motion, then negatives can only ask questions to him or her. I hope the rules are clear to everyone. So the judgment criteria are here. 10 points for subject matter relevance, 10 points for voice modulation, 10 points for expression and gesture, and finally 10 points for the rebuttal session. So I would like to invite my co-host Gayatri to introduce the first participant.
Just a second, Priyanshu. Participants, please switch on your cameras, everyone.
Okay, so here we have our first participant, Preeti Chaudhary. So right now she is pursuing her BTech in mechanical engineering from BIT City, and she will be speaking for the motion. Preeti, over to you. You may start.
A very good evening, respected members of jury, participants, and everyone present in this meeting.
Sorry to interrupt, Preeti.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, sure. So, first of all, good evening to one and all present over here. So, first, kindly turn on the camera. It is requested to all the participants. And the second thing is that we are going to change the topic of today's debate. So, Adya, please share the topic.
Sure. Just a second. Yes. Is my screen visible?
Yes,
Someone
it
please
is.
confirm. Yes. Yes, this is the topic for the discussion. Kindly have a look at this topic.
And you guys may proceed right now.
So I think then we should give them some
You
time
should
to
give them some
prepare for
time.
this topic.
Sure. Take a minute or two,
Yeah.
and after the after 2 minutes of time, you'll have your chances to speak. Someone please take a note of the stopwatch and confirm once the stopwatch is like ready to roll.
Sorry, ma'am, but earlier we gave 20 minutes after giving the topic to prepare. So it will be unfair for them if we only 2 minutes.
Ma'am, we had 3 rounds earlier in which we have given participants 20 minutes, so it will be little unjustified for them.
Don't you people think 20 minutes are too long to prepare for a topic? Like, you people are going to do a debate.
Yes.
And
It will be completely scripted for anyone.
yes,
That
that will be,
Yes,
you can have a whole script written in 10 minutes only. So you're not going to see and read it out. And if this is the condition now, then what will you people be doing when you'll face your placements and all? You
Okay,
get
Mukim,
the,
give them 5 minutes for that.
okay, 5 minutes will be, okay, fine, agree.
Okay, okay, thank you,
yes.
ma'am.
Okay.
Kindly just inform the students when like you have your stopwatch ready, set to 5 minutes.
Start the stopwatch. We have two stopwatch, no? One of 3 and one of 2. So once 3 will finish, we will start the another one. Ma'am, can you please type that topic in the chat box? Thanks, ma'am.
अरे एक तो इवेंट वगैरह कॉलेज का नहीं होता है.
Okay, Gayatri, so start with the first participant.
Okay, so we have our first participant, Preeti Chaudhary. Right now, she's pursuing her BTech in Mechanical Engineering from BIT Singapore. Preeti, are you here?
Yes, Gayatri.
Yeah, you may start.
A very good evening to all the jury members, participants present here.
Just a second, Preeti. Let the timer start. Abhishek, timer. Yeah, Preeti, you can start.
So, for today my topic is, does individual should own their own DNA? And I'll be speaking for the motion. So, what is a DNA? DNA stands for deoxyribonucleic acid, and each and every individual participants have their own DNA structure. Even they belong from a same family, but their DNA structures uh, are different to some extent. But in few past years, we have seen that family members are ascending their diseases in an order, and we found that it is due to our DNA. The diseases are formulated to one family member to another because of the DNA structure, because at some extent our DNA belongs to our father or mother, and because of that many diseases are carried forward to the next generation, and due to that the generation is not getting the rid of from the diseases like diabetes and many other diseases which are following us from the ancestors time. So I would say that individuals should own their DNA, so that they can in each and every individual they should recreate their DNA, so that the diseases cannot be carried forward in the next generation, and they can get rid of the maximum diseases, so that they can live a life of disease free. And when we will create the new DNAs in our body, then we will be able to fight with more diseases in an effective way, because in right now in our white blood cells we stores the same information which our ancestors have fought with virus or bacteria. Those informations are stored, but when we will create the new genetics or genetics or DNAs in our body, then we will learn more, so that we can fight with those viruses or bacteria in an effective way. Thank you.
Okay, so we can start the rebuttal round. So, questions? You can have the questions now.
Preeti, you said that if if some person is affected by some disease, then how will copying his genes will help? Like if his DNA is not capable to fight with that disease, then don't you think that copying that same DNA and not letting the nature do its work will hinder that,
No,
and will
because
the disease will propagate in
because
the next generation?
because when we will create the new DNAs, they will know how to fight with, because they will restore the store the memory while fighting with new genes or new viruses and bacteria, so that they can fight with those bacteria in an effective way, and they can easily kill them if we will create the new DNAs in our body.
Just suppose that your DNA is not capable of fighting with some kind of virus, and your kind of DNA is only thing that is present in the society. Then how will the society fight then if similar kind of DNA gets accumulated in the society,
Don't you
whole
think that
society,
we learn
and
this way
something like
only?
coronavirus comes? Then how will, because there is a certain case in South India, there is because our ancestral culture of caste system is very deep rooted. Then there is a certain caste in South India who are not who can't accept a particular kind of anesthetic in surgery, because they are marrying in their own caste for generations. Then
Yeah, that's what
that
I'm
is
saying now. If we will create new DNAs in our body, that thing will not happen, and we won't have to even if we'll create new DNAs, then if we'll marry to any person or any person in the world, then the new diseases cannot be formed, and the physical diseases cannot be formulated further. That's why we have gotra system in our ancestors time, because they says that we should not marry to the same gotra, because when we marry to the same gotra, they
Okay,
like.
Preeti, time's up now. Let's move forward.
Thank you.
So our next speaker is Bhavani Prasad Das. He is pursuing his BTech in BIT Sindri from Mechanical Branch, batch 2K21, and he will be speaking against the motion. Bhavani, are you there?
I guess Bhavani is not there. Let's move on to the next speaker.
Okay, so we have our next speaker, Mahi Kumari. Right now, she is in Don Bosco School, Dumka, and she is in Standard 9. Mahi, are you there? Vic, please check she's there or not.
I guess he's not there. Yes, he's not there. We can move. Priyanshu, next.
So our next speaker is Amit Kumar. He is currently pursuing his BTech from BIT Sindri, batch 2K21 from Electrical Branch. He will be speaking against the motion.
It's 2019. Okay.
Yes.
Batch of 2019. Yeah.
Amit
Amit sir,
sir?
you can start.
Yes. So, good evening to one and all present here. I am Amit, and I am going to speak against the motion of the topic, which is individuals should own their own DNA. So, talking about the current scenario of the world right now, that we can see we have been suffering through this whole lot of pandemic, which is COVID, and we are all suffering because it's a new disease, and we are our body not immune to this disease, and we are suffering as a loss of person, as a loss of life, and many more. So, taking the case of this particular scenario, so if we are not prone to change our DNA, means not something kind of implementing new character or new fighting strength toward this new corona or new viruses in our body, so we would face a lot of harm, as the person would suffer as a loss of life, because if you are not implementing uh, a new kind of means if we are not changing our DNA, if we are sticking to the old DNA that our ancestor had, we had, then we are not immune to fight from the new diseases that we are currently facing in our new world. Talking about this COVID only, because COVID was not there 100 years back, and the same DNA we are carrying 100 years back till now. And if we are sticking to the same DNA, then we can't fight the new diseases, and we can't survive in this new world. So I want to say that individuals should not own their own DNA in the sense of upgrading themselves or changing themselves in comparison to the new world that we are living right now. Apart from this virus, we should also change in terms of living conditions as well as the geographical changes that are going to occur in a world, because every time the world changes, the DNA that we are carrying, it's way back, and it's adapted to the kind of environment that existed a kind of 30 to 40 years or 50 years back. But we should change, or we should implement new changes in our body, including our DNA, so that we can adapt to the new environment, new geographical changes, as well as temperature and many more, so that we can survive in this new world. And we can say that we human have got these changes or evolved these changes. Yes, we can see that many of the characteristics that which existed in our ancestor, including that the evolution change that we learn, that earlier human used to be walk like this or live like this, our body structure was like that and that. So it evolved, eventually it changed due to the geographical or the living condition of our earth, and it's helped human being to survive in their own life. So it's very important for individuals should not own their own DNA. It should be evolved to the better future in their life. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. So we can now move on to the rebuttal session. Whoever have questions, please raise your questions. Soumya ma'am, you can ask your question.
Okay, so you said individuals can change their DNA. Can you please elaborate how can they change and how can they keep it the same?
Individuals, I think, cannot change their DNA completely, but they can implement some changes in it. Just like we have heard that many research are going on, so to implement new changes in their DNA and to evolve into a better human being or a better human. So we can't change totally, but some changes are implemented to make human being better in the living life. That's all from my side.
Okay, sir. But right now, according to the present conditions, since we are also seeing that life expectancy is also decreasing, so the genes of our ancestors would be more stronger. Like right now, since we are seeing that the life expectancy is decreasing day by day due to climate change and many other things. So evolving can also be a harm for us.
Evolving can be harmful to us, but right now the situation that we are facing on, right now the situation which we are facing on, in which we are suffering from the various diseases and all. So here we have to try or we have to experience some kind of new changes so that we can survive from the current condition. But if we do not do anything, then it's difficult for us to survive in this current situation.
What are you planning to do to survive in this current situation? How are you going to modify your DNA to adapt to the current situation?
Basically, if talking about currently, I mean, it's totally changing your DNA. It's not possible for right now for anyone. But that's all I mentioned before too. That we can implement some changes throughout the body, so that we are immune to the new diseases, as well as we can survive in these new conditions.
Okay, so were you well acquainted with the diseases or the various viruses that are procuring or will be procuring in the future? How will you prepare your DNA? Like,
Basically, talking about preparing your DNA and implementing the new changes in it, it's not totally on our side, but the government has taken initiative to have some changes in the human body, as well as getting immune to the new diseases and well. So yes, that's totally on their side.
Okay, so thank you, sir. We can move on to the next debater.
Okay, so our next debater is Sneha Sunny. Right now, she is pursuing her BTech in Production and Industrial Engineering from BIT Sindri, and she will be speaking for the motion. Sneha, you may speak. Sneha, are you there?
Yes.
Please
Um,
share.
Thank you,
Okay,
Gayatri.
you may start.
A very good evening over here, and I will be speaking for the motion. The topic is: Do individuals should own their individuals own their should own their own DNA? First of all, I would like to draw attention on the 3 points. As far as I can see, is it's all about education, the household maintenance, and whatever the equality is there. Now I would like to draw your attention. Let's suppose there is a family member. In family member, there are so many. In family, there are so many members. But somehow, if someone misbehaved, then the people blames like he is belonging to that family. That's why like his character is like this. But only that person is responsible for that misbehave. But people are pointing to the family members. In that case, if someone own their own DNA, then like he will be responsible for the same. And as we all have, and second point, like all we have as we know that we all have taken the COVID vaccine, that is the co-vaccine and all. But now the scientist has released a COVID vaccine that is known as Jai vaccine, actually Jai COVID vaccine, and that COVID vaccine has all the facilities like they can um, like they can just connect to the new whatever the new mutation present there. They can find out this kind of changes has been there. So there is a facilities that there is a facility that people can detect. And now the DNA changing is there. It's done by like DNA patent. And the third point is like as some like there is a recipe, and if some people wants to modify by their own, they can in that case DNA can also be modified by some of the extent. And whatever we have taken the vaccine in our inside our body, and that was also a DNA that help us to sustain the environment. So I think that yes, DNA individuals should own their DNA, like it helps them to modify or whatever in environment they are like they want to live. So I think yeah, this DNA individuals should own their DNA. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Sneha. So we can now move to the rebuttal session. If anyone has any question, please ask.
Okay, Sneha, so please answer me, what does vaccine have to do with human DNA?
Just like ma'am, vaccine during COVID time, a vaccine was present there, and that was actually a dead DNA molecule that we taken inside our body. So that change was also like they were there, like the vaccine was there just to help us to sustain the environment. Like we don't get another kind of disease. It helps to sustain. In that case, like DNA is also there. It would
Can you
help us
please
to according
reread
to
the
the
topic of
environment.
debate for me? Can you read it aloud, the topic of debate?
Yes, ma'am. Individuals should own their own DNA. It means that
So, like,
owning their own.
I
Yes,
don't
ma'am.
understand the coherence between vaccine viruses DNA and humans DNA. So, what are you trying to say? Please make it clear.
Ma'am, human DNA.
Okay, so Akash, you can also ask a question.
Sneha, DNA is a very intrinsic part of human body. It is a basic structure. Uh, you are in the support of the thing that DNA should not be changed, but by changing it, we can cure various diseases which are linked to the DNA, like cancer. Scientists are trying to modify the DNA. It has something to do with DNA. So how will you counter it? Because changing the DNA can actually help us in finding a cure of cancer.
Sir, we have an example like scientists have worked upon, and they find another DNA kind of molecules that will actually help people to like there is a mutation in every time during the DNA replication, like each new kind of variant I can say that yeah, different kinds of environment is there. So in that case, like I think DNA should DNA. Sorry, sir, I didn't get it.
Okay, so now let's move on with our next participant.
So our next speaker is Kakuli. She is currently pursuing her BTech from VIT Sindri, branch civil, batch of 2020, and she will be speaking against the motion.
Good
Kakuli.
evening, everyone. I'm Kakuli, and the topic of today's discussion is individuals should own their own DNA, and I'm speaking against the motion. We should never mess with nature's law. We have seen clear examples how due to too much technological advancements in the society, we have ended up creating global warming, and now we are planning to shift to another planet, that is to Mars. So you can see how detrimental it is to mess with the laws of the nature. And now we are talking about changing, owning our own DNA. First, we need to understand that these DNAs will be owned by companies, and companies can change uh, it. We can get those DNAs through companies, and companies can change their privacy laws anytime. And we have huge privacy risks due to these. Cyber threats can increase. Then the anonymity of the relatives and other members can also be violated due to this, because we get DNA from our parents, we inherit it from our parents. Then there are many other. Who do you think will profit from our DNA? It is not us, of course. It is the companies. Like, just think that through your DNA, if any disease is any disease's cure is detected, then you will not be paid for it, or you will not be given any incentive for that. But you will not gain anything from it. So it is not your profit, it is actually the profit of large companies and the other people. And giving our own right to somebody can be very detrimental. We can destructing DNA can also be very difficult, because the companies can manipulate according to their wish. So it is better, according to me, that we do not mess with the nature's law and not own our own DNA.
So with that, we can move on to the rebuttal session. Please raise questions.
Okay, Preeti, you can ask.
Preeti, you can ask.
Kakuli, you mentioned that DNA will be owned by company, but do you think that how company will insert the DNA in human being after that? Because you could have said that DNA can be like, it can be manipulated in our own body and can be created in a different structure than our parents.
We cannot trust these big organizations. There can always be some privacy issues, like
No,
in case.
I'm not saying that DNA should be made by a company, but I'm saying that what if the DNA is restructured in our own body while we are in our mummy's womb? Then
Uh, that is a very difficult process, and I think that would take years, and I don't even know why, if it is possible or not.
don't you think that in our
Okay,
body
Preeti,
there is.
we don't have the cross questioning now.
Okay,
So Rana, you can.
So Rana, you can ask your question.
Rana, you can ask.
Okay,
Then
okay,
Soumya, ma'am, you can.
Kakuli, you said like the companies will be owning your DNA. Then don't you think we can introduce some regulations and everything to protect the privacy and ownership of individuals rather than company in future if something like that happens? So that is one of the ways, because it is very beneficial if we have control over our DNA structure. Then many diseases can be resolved. because
Sorry, I didn't get your question well.
right now we banks are holding our accounts, our money, our everything is on internet, our every information. Then what will then we can introduce some regulations from the government can introduce some
We
regulations
cannot
over that
trust
kind of companies.
we cannot trust these regulations because we have always seen faults in the regulations. We can see about the privacy policies of WhatsApp also. They say that there are many privacy policies, but now those are being hired. WhatsApp is taken over by Meta, that is by Facebook, and they are
You
changing
use
the laws, so
all
it
of
can
those apps,
happen
no?
anytime.
You use all those apps, no?
Yes.
So what's the harm? They are beneficial to you too. There are certain risks,
Yes,
but they
it
are
is
beneficial to them.
beneficial right now, but we cannot say anything about the future. If there are many risks, then we can shift to some other communicating websites, some other communicating apps which
You
are better
can
than WhatsApp.
you can shift to some other companies that can
Yes, that is just a case of WhatsApp, and here we are talking about our own DNA. So, giving our own DNA's ownership or any, if they take any advantage of it, it can be detrimental for the whole society, and it is directly linked to us.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Kakuli. So we can move to the next speaker.
Okay, so we have our next speaker, Mayank Chaturvedi. Right now, he's pursuing his BTech in Computer Science Engineering from Gurukul Kangri Vishwavidyalaya, Haridwar. Mayank, are you there? Wait, please check now.
I guess he's not here. We can move on.
Yeah.
Pianshu, let's move with the next.
So our next speaker is Akash Kumar. He is currently pursuing his BTech from BIT Sindri from branch mechanical batch of 2020, and he will be speaking against the motion. Akash?
Yes. Sorry, I am from chemical.
Oh,
Good
so
evening, everyone. I am Akash Kumar from Chemical Engineering, batch of 2K20, and I am speaking against the motion that individuals should own their own DNA. So, what is DNA? DNA is deoxyribonucleic acid. Uh, it is a basic structure of our body. It is present in the nucleus of the cell, and it is something which is very intrinsically related, linked to ourselves. It is very difficult to change it. And as far I have understood the topic, as in the Google form I filled social issues. The topic is referring to DNA as the socio-economic conditions which we come from, and so it is good. So it is a thing that we all have a different kind of social setting from where we come. We have our own strengths or our own weakness. It is a good thing that we should embrace them and be confident about it. But in this approach, there is a flaw. By In this way, our perspective gets very limited. We become myopic in our approach. Due to this, we are unable to get various opportunities. Because of this, I would like to cite an example from a movie which I saw recently from Disney named Soul. It is an animation movie. The story is like that the main character is aspiring to be a musician. He comes from a family where his father was a musician, and he is very limited in his approach that yes, I have to be a musician, and when I am a musician, my life will change. He is very myopic. In the climax of the movie, he questions himself that the dialogue is all this living worth dying for? He becomes very stressed about it, and at the end of the movie, he resolves it and finally concludes that no, he should open up to various other things as well. Holding DNA is a good thing, but he should be open to perspectives, what other people are saying, what other people are doing. Concluding, uh, holding on to one's DNA is a good thing, but when it gets too extreme, it is toxic to one's own self only. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Akash. We can now open the questions. rebuttal session starts. Please ask questions. Participants, judges, audience, anyone?
Okay, so Akash, changing your DNA would not only mean limiting yourself, it might also open up to new possibilities.
Yes.
So how can we see that it's only limiting yourself?
Sorry, can you please repeat?
Changing your DNA can also open new possibilities for you, for your
Yes.
body. So you are not limiting yourself. So the story you narrated us was about you are limiting yourself.
Uh, no, actually, he was limiting, but then he realizes at the end that he should open up. So that is what I was trying to say, that uh, one should try to uh, matlab, explore new possibilities, just not keep to their own thing.
Okay, anyone other wants to ask some questions?
Time is running out. If anyone wants to ask any question. Okay, thank you, Akash.
Thank you.
We can move to the next debater.
Okay, so we have our next speaker, Shubham Kumar. Right now, he's pursuing his BTech in chemical engineering from BIT Sindri. Shubham, you may speak.
Yes. Good evening, everyone present here, respected panel of judges, and all the participants present here. I am Shubham Kumar from Chemical Engineering Batch 2020, and today I will speak for the motion on the topic DNA. An individual should own their own DNA. At first glance, something as personal as individual DNA might seem a clear candidate for a heritable ownership, and every individual is born with a unique identity and unique set of DNA, and they have the clear right to own them. And this is DNA is something that they inherit from their elders, their parents, their past generations. And this DNA is the building block of an individual. And what we are talking here is, and how easily we are talking here is changing someone's DNA. DNA is not just three words: DNA, the deoxyribonucleic acid, but it's an entirety of a human genome. A single DNA contains 23 pairs of chromosomes, and each chromosome contains 22,000 genes, each genes containing millions of nucleotides, and they contains the informations of the entirety of the humans that is prevailing from millions and millions of years. So changing a DNA can, I think it is unimaginable. And 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 if in future technology advances and DNA is being changed, then I think it is not it should not be acceptable, that because through DNA we inherit our culture, the ethics, and I don't think any civilization can exist or grow without without protecting their cultures and their ethics. And through DNA we inherit the values and the experiences of our ancestors. And yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Shubham. So now we can have the questions. The rebuttal session starts. If anyone has got any question, please ask.
Okay, Amit sir, you can ask.
So, Shubham, you mentioned that we should not change our DNA because changing DNA means losing your culture, losing your own identity as well. So, comparing to the situation where you are suffering from the multiple diseases over there from this current pandemic, and you need to change your genes just to survive the current condition. So, what would you prefer, holding your culture and civilization over there to survive in this world?
I think that humans race have been surviving and have seen much burst time than the current situation, and they have survived without changing their without the change in their DNA. They have survived much more greater pandemics like Spanish flu, that has Spanish flu and for smallpox that have prevailed in the past, and they have survived that. They have came through the situation without changing their DNA. And if what is the guarantee that changing the DNA will not cause any certain kind of mutations that we are currently seeing in the current situation that the coronavirus is going through? And how can you say that the changing the DNA will lead to the advantages, and how can it not lead to disadvantage of the human race? It can change. It is the building block of the building block of the species, and changing it can also eradicate and may make us extinct.
So I have a question. You said that values are inherited and not taught or learned. Okay, in a family line. So how can you say that? Please explain.
uh, uh, yes, to certain extent the values are inherited, and they are and more are added, more are added through the experience we get from our elders, and from the elders, like if the parents if the parent of a child is very soft hearted or soft natured, then it is acceptable that the child is or will also become a soft nature or soft hearted, which will be in their DNA.
Okay, so the time is up. We can move to the next speaker.
So our next speaker is Rana Randeep. He is currently pursuing his BTech in BIT Sindri from Mechanical Branch, batch of 2020, and he will be speaking against the motion. Rana, you can go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. I am Rana Nandi from Mechanical Engineering of batch 2020. I will be speaking against the motion. So, the topic is individuals should own their own DNA. Let's talk about what owning our DNA means to us. How many of us blame how we look, what is our height to ourselves? Like we are responsible for this, how we look, what is our height. Some might say our parents are responsible for that, but it is not the case. No one is there to decide in which family you are born, what sets of chromosomes you are going to own. So this is completely a natural process. Getting a DNA, you don't have any kind of control over what kind of DNA you get. And at current point of time, there is no technology which can alter your DNA in a specified way. So this is one of the reasons that you will be responsible for everything, whatever you are. And if you donate something to someone for some surgery, then you will be owning that responsibility also. If that doesn't work, then you will be responsible for that. Suppose you own a land and you do some illegal, illegal activities, then you are responsible for that. So, because at this point of time there is no such technology to control over your DNA, so there is no point of owning it. And the second thing, that the body or you that you have right now, it's not just 15, 20 years old. It is lakhs of years old. It has gone through a lot of evolution. It has fought many diseases. And in future, if some thing of such kind like happens that you can alter your DNA, then it is possible that most of the people might go for a certain kind of trait like fair skin, long height. So And the thing is, there are only 46 chromosomes which contains millions of data. And if we are able to alter only one chromosome, then that might result in losing a lot of data, a lot of genes that we had that had fought our ancient disease or something like that. We know that the glaciers contains a lot of ancient diseases that might come up any time. So we might end up losing those data too. So owning your DNA is not. I'm against that. That is my point. Thank you.
Okay, so we can start the rebuttal session. Please ask your questions.
Okay, Preeti, you can ask.
Rana, as you said that if we will create new DNAs, we will lose previous datas, like past datas. So don't you think that we should go for new datas rather than being for older datas,
Yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
the environment, the evolution is happening exponentially. So we need newer data to the more extent, I guess.
But losing older data will also affect us pretty. Like our bodies, the human, the Homo sapiens might have encountered in some ancient diseases and have built immune for that. And if we lose that genes and and that disease again comes up in future, then it might be fatal for the whole humankind if that certain trait is lost from all of us.
No, like I was talking about hunting skills. Like we don't need right now hunting skills. So what we will do with those datas? What we will do with those datas if we don't do
Hunting
these
skill
kind of
is
things?
Hunting is still not just about hunting. It's
I just gave an example actually.
yeah, uh, like hunting skills.
What
Would
I
it
was
do if
saying
you
that
are achieving a
if
goal,
our
then you
ancestors
use those
if
things.
our ancestors were feeding themselves by hunting, and we are not doing those kind of things right now. So what we will do with those skills or those data stored in
While
our
hunting,
chromosome?
the prey was their goal, and right now too we have some goal. So the hunting does not is just not one trait. It encompasses many traits. So that
Okay, I have a
okay.
question.
Yes, ma'am.
Suppose you're donating one of your kidney to other person, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
So will that person's DNA gets mutated or changed, or your DNA changes, or that person's DNA changes? Can you please explain?
No, no, ma'am, I was just giving that example, like owning something, what owning something means. Like if suppose that we own our DNA and our child is born abnormal, then anyone can file a lawsuit that your DNA, you are the owner of that DNA, you hold the responsibility for this abnormality or something. The thing is, we don't have right now. We don't have the control over our DNA. Right now, I'm talking about this particular time. DNA is totally a natural thing. And because we don't have any control, then owning it means nothing at all. Like we are holding responsibility for something that we can't even control by ourselves. When you own something, when you own a cert, when you own a property, you have the technology to use that thing in a certain particular way. And if something bad is going on that land, or you are killing someone with this cloth, then you own a responsibility that that cloth was yours. Why did
It's
you
okay.
kill?
Don't stretch too much. It's okay. I understood.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay,
Adya
now
ma'am, you
time
can
is
ask your
forward.
question. No, no, wait, Prince. There was one question.
Yes, ma'am, you can go ahead.
Adya ma'am, you can ask your question.
Yes, you said that we can create DNA. I have that question. How can we create it?
I didn't say create DNA. Sorry if I said that. In the present time, we can't create any DNA. In future, we might be able to alter one or two chromosomes of our DNA. And my point was, if we alter one or two chromosomes, we will be losing a lot of data and ancient immune systems that our Homo sapiens have shown. I was pointing on that about future scenario.
Okay, okay,
Okay,
okay.
thank you, Rana.
Yes.
So,
Thank you.
Prince, we can move ahead.
I think Gayatri will have.
Yeah, Gayatri.
So we have our next participant, Satyam Dubey. Right now, he is pursuing his BTech in CIC from BIT Sindri, and he will be speaking for the motion. Satyam,
Satyam, are you there?
are you there?
I guess he's not there. And Ria ma'am also, she is not there. So Rana was the last speaker. So we can conclude the debate now.
Okay, so on concluding, I'm extremely thankful to all our jury members, Roshan sir, Kamya ma'am, Adia ma'am, and Avinav sir for sparing their busy, sparing your time from the busy schedule and making this event possible and successful. I would also like to thank all the participants for participating and making this event even more exciting and wonderful with their speeches. Though they have got very less time, but you all were wonderful. Thank you to all.
Okay, and if judges want to conclude something, so they can.
Yeah, thank you
Just
so much
concluding.
for inviting us in. And I was really impressed that even though we dropped a new topic for discussion, but you all like played it quite well, and it was very nice. All of you spoke really very well. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. If anyone wants to speak anything, so they can go ahead.
Yes, I would like to ask to all the judges as well as panel respectively that we had a discussion regarding this, but I would like to get your views on the topic that we discussed right now, because we if we might miss any points regarding that and all, so that we might catch up with that point as well.
Yeah, precisely. Judges, please.
Okay, I would like to take over this question. First of all, when the topic is put forth to you, you need to analyze the topic in two ways. First, what the topic means literally and what it means metaphorically. Even I look for some points that where participants put their views in the metaphoric way of owning a DNA. Owning a DNA might mean to someone that he owns his own personality. And so I was also looking for this point, but it's all right. And whenever you speak and a sudden topic is dropped to you, speak your mind and you pour your heart out. So that's the best part when you get a topic that's completely unknown to you and that's sudden. So you all played this role very well, and the coordinators, they also coordinated very well. All the very best. In case someone wants to add up something, they are invite on the stage. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. If anyone wants to add anything, so. Okay.
Thank you, everyone. It was a great experience.
Thank you, Preeti. Okay, then we will wrap up. Results will be announced soon.
Okay, so I am dropping a link so you all can give your feedback in the comment section. Okay. Please fill the feedback form.
Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Leave the meeting.
Thank you, seniors. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.